up, guys? It's Phil, and it's time for another update. So I am in my shop, I've got the doors open, birds chirping, guy next door mowing the lawn, so I apologize if the microphone is picking that up, but it is 69 degrees today, and I am loving it. This weather is phenomenal, but I'm not going to be here. I've got to go and fit in a project that actually got left off of my calendar, so I'm trying to squeeze it in. It is going to be a marathon run, and I just gotta get it done. So I just finished up the Main Street Festival that is put on by the Williamson County Heritage Foundation here in Franklin, Tennessee. It was an awesome event. Well, it's usually an awesome event. But with the NFL draft and with the marathon happening at the same time up here in Nashville, we saw a ton of out-of-towners. We saw very few locals, which for me is okay, because I'm local. This whole show is just a huge chunk of my advertising budget for the year, and that's usually how I treat most of these shows, because people usually don't buy furniture directly from me. That being said, I sold 3 furniture pieces, but that's neither here nor there. I spoke to a lot of the other vendors, and they were not happy with the turnout of the show this year. The numbers were extremely low, not a lot of people were making money, and this is usually the biggest show of the year as far as the number of people and the number of sales goes. So I don't know what happened there. It's not really my bag, since I'm mostly just there to talk to people. So I had a great weekend. In fact, here's some clips. So that was a lot of fun, but I am really freaking tired right now. I actually overslept today, and then I tried to get some kind of administrative stuff done, got sucked into YouTube, got sucked into doing some online banking stuff, and it's now almost noon, and I was supposed to be getting started at about 8 o'clock on this project. So I am going to run and go and get all the stuff that I need. I've got one of my part-time guys meeting me out there, and we're going to go ahead and get started on getting everything ready for this project. This one should be super easy. It is nothing but shelves. But the issue that I have with these shelves is I have to mount them into metal studs. That's not the easiest thing in the world to do, because you have to find the studs, make sure you're actually on them, measure out where they're supposed to be, and then you have to drill a hole that goes through the piece, through the wall, through the stud, there we go, and then install a toggle bolt that's going to flip down and hold it against that metal stud. I don't like doing it this way, but I took the job without confirming whether they were metal studs or not. They came back later and confirmed they were. It's not a big deal, it's just one extra step. So nice little challenge for me. I love this kind of stuff because it always forces me to learn something, but you have to breathe, you have to take your time, you have to learn what to do and how to do it properly, or everything's gonna fail. And I cannot give this money back. I actually left this project off of my calendar, like I said earlier, and I'm scrambling to get it done now, because it is a big money project for what it is, and so I'm hoping to get that done quickly now in the next 2 days. After that, it's just more built-ins. I'm doing built-ins on built-ins on built-ins till like June. And then I've actually got more people calling me to do built-ins and stuff right now that are hoping to be booked in like July and August. So I'm getting pretty booked out, which is pretty awesome, and I'm hoping to see some phone calls and emails from the show that I just did this weekend. So hopefully that'll all work out. We will see. Update on the expansion, Still not happening. My part-time guy is going to try to get out here and do some of the electrical stuff with me, and then I've got a roofer that's supposed to come out here and double check the bad roofing job that was done, and also give my landlord a quote on doing this whole thing. So we'll see. We'll update on that. I know it's getting boring because it was supposed to be done 2 months ago, and now my tools are just sitting under a tarp not being used. So that's super fun. So I'm going to get on it, I'm going to get everything packed up, and we're going to go and get started on this project so that we can get started on the next project so I can finish up my project from the last update and get all that stuff done so I can get paid. It's Tuesday. I just about got caught up, and then I woke up this morning to a text message, and one of my part-time guys is quitting. And by quitting, that means he's just not coming ever again. So I am now going to go do a built-in that I needed 2 guys to help me cut all the plywood and process everything. Whenever I start, that's always the biggest thing. It's when I need the most people. One of my guys needed the day off today, and I told the other guy, hey, you've got to be there. And he was like, yeah, sure. And they quit this morning. So I'm going by myself. So I think I'll be tackling this one old school, manhandling the plywood and doing everything by myself, which I've been doing for the past 2 years. So we shall see if this slows me down too much. The other project that I've been working on, because I was starting it as I was finishing 2 other projects, it's been hard to actually get that one rolling, and so I'm sending my painter over there today. I'm going to stop by and double check some things before he gets started on it, but hopefully that one will be done here pretty soon. I've still got to do all of the doors and drawers for that one, so it's going to be a busy week. I'm hoping that my other part-time guy does not need much more time off to handle what he's working on, and we can get back to actually plowing through this stuff, because I was rolling, and then as of the end of last week and now into this week, I've hit a crawl, and that's not super good when you've got so many projects backed up on top of each other. Regardless, somebody's got to do the work, and that is going to be me. So I'm going to go ahead and get the supplies, get to my other client's house and get finished up there, and then get on to this new job and just start it myself and see what I can do. so we are in the 4th week of May. It's not over yet because we still have like a half week to go after this. May has like 5 weeks. I don't know. Anyway, so I am out here on Monday getting some stuff done. This weekend I had an electrician come out, a friend of mine, and he was able to wire everything up out here. It's not the prettiest, but it's not supposed to be. So I told him just staple everything up and call it done. But with that, I was actually able to test out my sander, and my sander works. I'm super, super excited. So I went and bought a switch so I can try and get this dust collection going, and if I can get those two things going, I might actually have this thing up and running today, which is great because I've got a countertop and a whole bunch of cabinet doors to do, so I need to get this thing going. But I'm going to finish getting it set up, and then I'm going to wire that thing up, test everything. I also did a whole bunch of electrical work on the side as well. Like I changed out some of the fuses. I added a 100 amp fuse at the house. I've actually got 100 amps coming out here now as opposed to like the 40 or 50 I had, because there's no way that, I mean, the lights already flicker when I turn on the saw and the vacuum at the same time. There's no way that a 220 dust collection system and a 220 sander are going to run at the same time with lights on, air conditioning running all summer. I'm gonna blow something. So I upgraded all that stuff and made it a little bit better. Hopefully we've got all the power restrictions taken care of out here, so we shall see. For now I gotta get this thing set up and make sure it actually works, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, if you're about to write a comment, don't. I understand that I was wiring in the wrong switch. I was told by people online and very well-meaning people in the I Like to Make Stuff group and the Nashville Area Woodworkers group to do this. It did not work. I understand electricity is kind of crazy. That's why I hired a professional to come out and do this stuff in my shop. I didn't realize that they had 2 hots and a ground with no neutral going to that specific outlet. So the wiring I was trying to do would not work. However, I realized that I also have a Long Ranger 3. Apparently this is made specifically for dust collectors, and I found this in the bottom of the box when I was trying to move this stuff out of the way, and it is awesome. It's a remote switch for this guy. So now what I've done, as you just saw, is I plugged in the Lone Ranger and plugged the machine into that. I completely eliminated the switch that's on the machine by just cutting and wire nutting the wires together. So I no longer have a switch on the dust collector itself, but I have this guy to make it work. So everything is plugged in the way it's supposed to be, everything is nutted up the way it's supposed to be. Let's take her on her maiden voyage. Now I've got this thing all hooked up. My neighbor's putting a motor in his hot rod, so you can probably hear that right now. He's testing it out, revving it up, so sorry. But this is great. I've got this thing wired in and ready to go. I've got the hoses and stuff covered over here. This is eventually going to go to my other shop, but for now I'm just closing it off. All of this goes all the way around to the sander, and the sander is running just fine. Now the only issue I do have with the sander is when it fell over in my trailer, the top did get dented, so I'm having to adjust it a little bit, and with it just being a piece of sheet metal, it's really just like a bunch of bending things up out of the way. So I'm ready to test it, and if it works, then I'm going to put my countertop through it and see what happens. And with that, it is the end of May. I actually just finished that bunk bed project and it looks freaking awesome, but I didn't have any camera battery. So I didn't record the final details of it, unfortunately. It is getting painted on Monday, but Monday is going to be June, so I will show that project in my next update. Speaking of updates, this video is getting really long and I'm also trying to find my footing here on YouTube and see what is worth putting out there. So along with my DIY videos, I think what I'm going to start doing for these updates is doing more of a project by project thing. I didn't really want to do that because I didn't want to look like I was copying everybody else. But then I realized that's what I watch. I sit down and I watch somebody do a project, whether it's to learn something, see some new concepts, or just watch something because I'm bored. I will fall down these rabbit holes sometimes, and it's better that way. So I started with trying to show you some behind the scenes stuff, and that doesn't really work because I don't have a film crew filming me whenever I do make the mistakes. I don't want to do these monthly updates because when there's a lot of projects like this, the past couple months, they can be really, really long, and it's nothing but montages of projects. So instead, I'm going to break it up and do individual projects, and that way I can put out more videos more often, and also you're not bogged down with the boringness of just watching me do multiple projects at once. Plus, if you saw how crazy some of those montages are, that's actually how my day actually is. Sometimes I am literally just running back and forth from point 1 to point 2 to point 3 to point 4. Like this last project, this bunk bed project, today and yesterday were the only days that I actually got there in the morning and worked until the afternoon. Usually I'm getting there around like 12 or 1 if I'm lucky, because I've got so many other things to go do. That's kind of nuts, but I'm going to stop showing all of that and really just do each individual update as a project that I'm doing. They will overlap a little bit, but that's okay because then I can be working on one and editing one, and instead of going 2 or 3 weeks without a video and then have 2 or 3 videos on top of each other, I'd rather be putting out content for people to watch. Speaking of which, if you're still watching at this point, go ahead and comment down below. Tell me what your favorite part of my updates are, and I'll send you a free cutting board that I just made. I'm going to pick from the comments on this video, and the 2 that I really like the best, or that I think are most helpful to me as a growing channel, those 2 people are going to get a free cutting board made from Tennessee wood. It's a live edge board. It's beautifully finished with some citrus oil, so I think you're gonna like it. But go ahead and comment below, and hey, if you're watching till this point, you're one of the only people that actually did. So with that being said, it's the last day of May. I'm done. I'm starting a new project tomorrow, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. So thank you guys for watching. Do all the stuff that YouTube people beg you to do. Click on those Amazon links to help support me. We'll see you in the next project. Later, guys.